G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you missed part 9 of my little steam engine my way build, there's a link up there now. You can go watch that first, then come back and watch this one. Now, regardless of whether I build that Webster engine or not, and I think I probably will anyway, regardless of what you guys say, whether you guys say you watch it or not, there's something I really need to attend to first on the mill. You may have noticed how much trouble I was having trying to centre stuff while I was building the steam engine, and I just can't allow that to continue. So follow me over to the mill over there, and we'll see what we can do about fixing it. Alrighty, so I've already done some testing on this to see what I'm up against. I'm going to wind this thing down 50mm and see how much it moves, because the nod, it leans out at the top, I do believe, so it's going back in that way. So I'm going to wind it down 50mm by the DRO and see what we get. Alrighty, so that's 50mm and it's moved. Well, that's not a full millimetre, that dial. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 per 0.71. Now the travel down on this thing is about 200 from top to bottom. So that's 4 times 0.7, that's 2.8mm that it leans out at the top. So give me a second, I'll move this camera and I'll show you what I can do about it, what I built into this thing. Alright, so when I built this thing, all of this tower is just bolted to a base. Get that up out of the way. No, I'll stay out of the way. And it's got 3 bolts on each side like that. I think there's another one hiding in the back there from memory. There's one more around the back. And it's also bolted over here on the sides, each side, so it can literally tilt like that. I also put 2 jacking bolts in it, one here and one there on each side, so that I can adjust it this way. But for 4mm, that's just, you know, it's no longer clamped down to the base. If I tipped it up like that, I haven't worked it out, but to tip it back 4mm at the top, I've probably got to tip it back at least 1mm here at the base. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just kind of loosen everything, maybe put something like a 1mm thick some sort of shim in underneath it, tighten it all back down and then check it again. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, like I said, it's just, I can't imagine it's been like that since day dot. I really can't, because I thought I'd settle these things on originally. But maybe it'll change when I put this new table on here, I don't know. Anyway, we'll get into it and see what we can do with it. Alrighty, I'm not getting anywhere fast here. I made up some shims like these, put them in. Didn't seem to make any difference at all, but they were too far back, so I cut one in half and made some 2 thin ones of that, put them as far forward as I could get them. I can't remember now whether it made it worse or better. I got my little angle gauge block thing out, and so I'm down on here. I'll turn it on, idiot. And had a look to see. Come on, 0, damn you. Oh no. What that was, it's only 0.2 of a degree different. It should be 90, it's 89.8 or 0.75.8. Now at the moment I've got the rear bolts tightened right up, the front bolts backed off, and all the adjusting jack screws backed off, and I'm down to, I changed gauges because that other little thing had kept running out of trouble on me while I was mucking around with it. Get rid of that off there. I'm down to only about over 50mm, 0.18 to 0.19, somewhere around there. But I just don't know what to do here. Everything I try seems to make it worse. So I'll just have to keep playing around with it, I guess, and see what happens. I just don't. I did find 2 of these shims, the same thickness as this other stuff, already under the front edge of it. I took them out, and that's when I got this improvement that's there. Anyway, I'll keep working on it and see how we go. I'll come back to it when I finally figure it out. Alrighty, so it's taken a lot of tweaking and a lot of back and forth with the adjusting screws, the jacking screws, but I finally got the damn thing. Oh, well, it's within 100th or so. I had it within 300ths at one stage, and then when I tightened it down, it all threw it all out by a mile. So I had to go through the whole freaking process again. But anyway, you see it's still moving there. Oh, I don't know, maybe. That's 50 mil there, and it's moved about 1.5 hundredths, so I can live with that. So over 200 millimeters, what's that? 4 times 1.5, it's 6 hundredths. Over 200 millimeters, I can live with that. But I'm not going to mess around with that anymore. But last time I played around with all that stuff, it took away my ability to make really nice cuts with the fly cutter, because you know, you can throw all this out. So that'll be next up. See, I'll put the vise back on, get this off, vise back on, I'll try and fly cut something, see what happens, see where I need to adjust this again. Alrighty, so before I go fly cutting things, I should remember why I wanted to adjust this in the first place. And that is because I was having trouble centering things. So let's center this up, and I've marked this out here. You can see that I've got a mark there, that's exactly half 10 mil in. So we'll center it up and then put a spotting drill in there and see whether it lands right on that crosshair or not. Alright, so zero that. Alrighty, we'll halve that. Move across to 0. Touch it off on the end. Zero that, move it across 2 millimeters, zero it again, come across to 10 mil. Moment of truth. Let's see what it looks like without the spindle running. It looks pretty groovy, righto. And that, my friends, is absolutely bang on. Righty, so now we'll do something about trying the fly cutter out, see how that works. Righty, so the moment of truth. If this thing cuts once it's passed over, it cuts with the trailing edge, well, I'm going to have to adjust this up. By the way, I didn't show you, and I'll put it all away now. Check this with the little angle gauge, level gauge thing. 90 degrees here, like 0 here, and 90 degrees there now, so definitely got it right. So let's go. I'm absolutely going to have to adjust it. Look at the cut it's making here. That's because it's twisted around this way, so I'm going to have to adjust that. So I'll get set up for that and I'll come back to you. Alrighty, so I had this fine adjuster I made up here a while back for adjusting this, and I found the best way for me, mightn't be the right bloody way, is to give us a second. Set up a dial gauge on there and just move it a certain amount and then try it again. It's what I found to be the easiest way to get around this. Now, because it's cutting on the trailing edge, it needs to tip over this way a bit. So I'm going to try a 0.1 movement here first, and then there we go. So I'll just lock all these 4 bolts back up. Well, actually 3 of them, because one's too freaking hard to get at. And I didn't loosen it much anyway. We'll try another cut. Alrighty, so that's still cutting there, but much less than it was before. So I might go another 0.1. Let me change the tip too before I finish this. Listen, this battery's getting a little flat. I'll keep going, I'll get it right and I'll come back to you. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. This continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now, let's get back to the build. Well, awesome finishes are back. Now, it didn't cut, the trailing edge didn't cut going that way, but it was cutting a fair bit coming back this way, so that suggests to me maybe I went a bit too far, and now it's cocked this way a bit too much. But anyway, I think I might leave it at that for the time being and just see how we go with it. If it gives me too much trouble, then I think I might have another look at it. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Only a short one this week. I hope you might have got something out of that. Not that much of what I do on this homemade mill applies to anything that comes out of a factory, but I guess it kind of does in some respects, just different ways. Alrighty, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a great big thumbs up and smash that like button. And I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.